Ben Poole, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
You're chairing a panel on agency fragmentation, which would seem to be a bad thing for a big agency like yours, but doesn't it make the industry more competitive?
I think firstly, competition for big agencies can only be a good thing. If big agencies are not seeing competition coming through in certain specialist areas, then those big agencies will not be motivated to get up to speed. I think we see complacency sometimes across certain big agencies, and it can give them a bit of a kick to push on and to move on. I think on the brand side, having access to specialist agencies definitely has value. A specialist that can come in and talk about a new area that their incumbent big agency might not yet be able to do definitely shows value, but I think there's also a challenge there for brands in how do they then manage multiple agencies. The pace of change is so massive in our world, in the marketing world. You get a bunch of different specialist agencies. A brand goes from working with 2 agencies to working with 10. How do they manage that on a day-to-day basis and get the most out of their agency partners?
Are there any niches that big agencies can't or won't service in the future?
I think that there is not one agency that will be able to do everything. In the modern marketing world of today and tomorrow, consumers are getting ahead of most agencies in terms of their adoption of different channels and media, in terms of their consumption of media. There is not a single agency that will be able to fulfill on absolutely all solutions going forward. That said, there will be agencies that can lead on strategy and have a bunch of different partners, specialist partners, that they can tap into if that lead agency cannot necessarily fulfill on its own. So the whole thinking around an agency ecosystem and partners working together for the greater good, I think, is one that we'll see more and more.
Is there a fair way for large and small agencies to collaborate?
It's a collaboration model. I think that you'll see it more and more within the big advertising groups, whether it be Omnicom, Publicis, WPP, etc. How does the ecosystem within a global advertising group work so that the agencies can kind of leverage one another's skill sets and experience? And then you'll see lots and lots of small specialist shops, particularly in Asia, coming up in many different markets: Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia. There are some brilliant little hot shops coming through. There's no reason why a big agency can't strike up a partnership, and the two can benefit from each other in terms of driving value for a client and then driving revenues for themselves.
You're the head of interaction at MEC Asia Pacific. What's your definition of interaction? Interaction
to us is any kind of digital engagement that happens between a consumer and a brand. It is something that needs to then drive value for a brand and ultimately turn into a sale. And then through lifetime value, through to advocacy and loyalty. So ultimately, a digital engagement that is then resulting in a sale, happening across multiple platforms, multiple devices increasingly, but still just a single connection all the same.
What are your thoughts about online video as a tool for marketers?
I think the potential for online video can't be understated. We all know how powerful TV is. We all know how TV advertising can drive brand metrics and can shift brand metrics, and has been able to do so for decades now. Now that's moving into online, it's becoming much more of an easy thing to make happen. So audio visual in online, anybody can do, whether it be a publisher, a newspaper, a portal, etc. I think in terms of online video itself and its potential across Asia, to be honest, it really varies by country. You can't. It's not really homogenous across APAC. You've got advanced markets such as Australia, Korea, Japan, China, even where there's a huge uptake in people watching internet TV. People watching internet TV in numbers creates an opportunity for brands to create branded content, branded episodes online, advertise around that content. So you've got markets like that where watching long-form programming online is really happening. Then you've got markets where it's not happening just yet for infrastructure reasons, technology reasons. Some of the Southeast Asian markets where it's very much short-form content, short video clips. I see those as being very much YouTube markets. So how can you leverage YouTube as a channel, for example, coming up with kind of short clips? How can you advertise around those short clips? But that then also brings, you know, a big question mark around professional content. What's good content? What's bad content to advertise around? So different issues and different opportunities, I think, according to different markets in Asia.
Does it pose any risk for brands?
There is a risk. Ad verification is very, very important. We're starting to see video advertising networks come through in this region. If you're buying with a video ad network in countries where short form, short video clips are very, very prevalent, you absolutely need to make sure that you're advertising around respectable professional content. You don't want to be advertising around amateur content that's in any way going to damage your brand. So verifying, and there are technologies there, verifying that you know that your advertising is running against proper content is paramount.
Ben Poole, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure.